film this entire video and then somehow it just doesn't save on my phone, so that's fantastic. So let's film it again. This is books 131 through 135 that I read this year. We've got 2 rereads, 2 Warrior Cat books, and a fresh read. So we're gonna start with that fresh read. That is gonna be The Damnation Game by Clive Barker. So The Damnation Game it's a fun one. I liked it more than I liked Weave World when I read that this year, but it's not anywhere near how I felt about like the Great and Secret Show or about the Inhuman Condition. Basically, this follows this guy. I think his name is Marty. Is that his name? Yes, Marty Strauss. He gets let out of prison early on kind of a probationary period, on the as long as he agrees to be a bodyguard for this really like eccentric billionaire type person. And the reason this billionaire needs a bodyguard is because he's being hunted by like this like immortal being that like likes to play games and stuff like that. The main thing that I take away from this book that I enjoy, and I'm very sorry if this video is choppy, if it seems like I'm pissed off, I kind of am because I have to film the whole damn thing over again. The main thing that I take away from this book is it is deliciously gory, and by that I mean it is absolutely disgusting. Like, Clive Barker, one of his best attributes to his writing, always is just how absolutely disgusting it all is. Like, it is just nasty, you know, like it's just fucking gross, and he does it so well. Like, I'm just constantly in awe of what he's able to put on that page. Like, that is my favorite aspect of Clive Barker's writing. He's an amazing writer, though I think I've heard that it's a bit hit or miss sometimes. Like, sometimes some people just absolutely can't handle it. Like, he is very like, he's pretty purpley prosy sometimes, but I really very much enjoy it. I am actually even kind of glad that these past few Clive Barker books, I've enjoyed them. They've been great books, but they haven't like captured me as much as the first 2 I read did, because now I can safely say that he's not my favorite author and it is still Stephen King. But I gave this 4 or 5 stars. I don't quite remember which one, but it was a decent one. Alright, then I read a Warrior Cat book. I have been rereading these because they're... Well, I'm past the reread stage now, but I'll hold it up. The Warrior Cat series, it's this middle grade fantasy series about a bunch of like feral cats who live in the woods and they have a really kick-ass naming system and like religion and doctors and stuff. I love this series as a kid. Like, I was like reading so many of these just over and over. A lot of my, you can't really see them as much now, but these guys right here, these are my original like kid copies of those because I loved them so much. I decided a couple years back that I wanted to reread them and then continue on. I'm far past where I ever read as a kid now, and vlog about it. And I did do that. I did lose some vlog clips because my computer crashed. My old computer crashed, my laptop, and I lost a bunch of videos. I'm still mad about it, by the way. My Parkland review was amazing and I lost it. And now I'm never doing a Parkland review of the book by Dave Cullen. It was, man, but I'm doing those vlogs. They do tend to be spoilery, but like, I don't think very many of you are like coming here like looking for the newest hot takes on Warrior Cats without being spoiled. So I'm like, I don't feel bad about that. But basically, this is a novella collection. This has Misty Star novella, Cloud Star novella, and Hollyleaf novella. I'm not a huge fan of any of these cats. I don't give a shit about SkyClan. Hollyleaf was always my least favorite of the 3, and also, I don't know, she's just always really annoying. But I did enjoy the Hollyleaf one for the fact that it did make me pretty nostalgic for, because it does go into like the Great Battle and everything, which is that's a thing that makes me feel. And then the Misty Star one was okay. It was pretty interesting because it was dealing with her becoming leader and how to deal with having an atheist medicine cat and everything. Overall, though, I do go farther in detail in my vlog whenever that gets posted. So yes, I've got one more novella set that I'm reading right now. I'm almost done with it, and then I'm done with novellas until they come out with a new set which has a Black Star novella, and I'm fucking pumped for that one. But I did read this. I think I gave it 4 stars, maybe 3. It was okay. Then I reread an old favorite. That is The Stand. You gotta, I think Stephen King fans everywhere are like all rereading The Stand mid-pandemic because it's just fun. So The Stand, if you are somehow unaware, is Stephen King's pandemic book. It's about this super flu that just kind of rolls across the earth, taking out 99.9% of the population. And then there are like survivors that crop up and they go to like good or evil camps, and there's a lot. They talk a lot about, you know, morals and good, evil. Surprisingly, an interesting thing about this book is that it is one of the very few Stephen King books where religion is mentioned and not immediately demonized. I mean, for me, it's not something that really ever turns me away from Stephen King's books. Being an atheist myself, I don't care if Stephen King makes all of his religious people just the absolute like batshit insane Jesus freaks. That's fine. I don't care. But it is interesting to see when he doesn't do that. Like, I think the only couple that I can think of are like The Stand and Desperation, maybe. Like, it's weird. But I do love this book. This was my first Stephen King book. This edition is not the complete and uncut version. It's just got the 800 pages. So it doesn't have the kid, and it does not have some of the stuff that happened to Nick, and just little scenes here and there that it's missing. That was the version I read originally, though. That's what I first read, was the 800 page instead of like the 1200 page version. So it is a little bit more nostalgic to read this one, honestly. But I did enjoy rereading it. I used to reread this book like every January, like clockwork. It was like, I got a cold, better reread The Stand. So it was interesting. It was fun to reread because I haven't reread it as much lately. But I did enjoy the reread. Lloyd is my favorite. I think he is just so interesting. He's such an interesting character. He is just like, there's no way that any other, like, there was no way for him to get a chance with the good guys. Like, even if they had found him, they would not have given him the same responsibility or had the same belief in him as Randall Flagg would have. And I realize that Lloyd Henry is like a rapist and a murderer, but I have feelings, and it's just like, it's 5 out of 5 stars. It's The fucking Stand. Of course it's 5 out of 5 stars. I am interested in seeing this new show. I've heard bad things about it, but only the first 2 episodes are out at this point. So we'll see where that goes, and maybe when it's on DVD I'll pick it up. But after that, I read another Warrior Cat book that is Veil of Shadows by Erin Hunter. This is the 3rd book in the Broken Code series, which is, oh boy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th chronological series, the 7th series in general if you count the Dawn of the Clans in there. This is an interesting series because it mostly deals with, I don't want to go too far into it, although like I said, I don't think anybody's really going to be all that upset if I spoil the Warrior Cats. But this series deals with Bramblestar being possessed. And it's like, this entire series has been like, and I count them all as one series from the first book onward, because it really is. They're just a bunch of sub-series in there. It's like, I don't even know what to compare it to. But it's a one big series. Is that they're just like, in the first, apart from like the obvious like unrealistic cat things, like these cats have religion, or leaders actually have 9 lives, and it's, apart from that sort of stuff, there was not possession in the earlier books. It's really interesting to see just how far they go, because they're just like, I know that the authors of this, because it's like a team, I know that the original ones wanted to be done like forever ago, but HarperCollins or whatever, HarperCollins keeps going like, keep pumping them out, girls, and so they just keep pumping them out. But I'm actually enjoying this arc quite a bit. I was not a huge fan of the first half of A Vision of Shadows. Omen of the Stars was really meh for me too. Like, honestly, the first 3 were fantastic. I liked parts of Dawn of the Clans, but after the first 3 series, it really kind of started going like really, really iffy for me. But I think this series has the potential to be a good one. Then I reread Lord of the Flies by William Golding. The Lord of the Flies is a special book to me, so I reread this one to teach it, and I love Lord of the Flies. If somehow you don't know, Lord of the Flies, it's a very common book in the US to teach in 9th grade, or somewhere around there. I know different schools are different, but I have most commonly seen it for 9th grade, 8th or 9th grade. But this is the story of a bunch of British schoolboys aged about 5 to 14 who crash land on an island in an unspecified act of war. These boys end up, they kind of all meet, they realize that there's no adults, they realize that there's nobody to help them, and then they end up forming this tribe, but then kids go fucking insane and start killing each other. I have always, maybe not always, but in the recent couple years, I have maintained that the Lord of the Flies is a straight up horror novel, because it is. It might not be like The Troop, where is that? The Troop, where it's like where Shelley is allowed to be his full Roger-ness more than Roger ever is in this book. But there are just so many, like, the scene where Roger throws rocks at that little kid has so much suspense in it. Like, it is just insane. Like, it's fantastically written. I love Lord of the Flies so much. Like, Lord of the Flies has such a massive, like, part of my soul, honestly. Like, when I was, you know, in ninth, 10th grade, after I read Lord of the Flies, I was highly active on the Lord of the Flies fanfiction archive. I actually met one of my, like, best internet friends ever on that archive, and we've traded original work. She came out to North Dakota to visit me in July before the pandemic started. Like I made good friends in the Lord of the Flies fanfiction.net archive, but there's so much that's still in the Lord of the Flies fandom on Tumblr, which is somehow still alive, that is just, like, I can trace directly back to my fan fictions. Like, if you go on Tumblr and you go if you're in the Lord of the Flies fandom on Tumblr somehow, and if you've seen pictures of people drawing Bill looking like Dave Strider from Homestuck with blonde hair, sunglasses, that was my doing. I take full credit for Cool Bill. I 100% do. That was me. I'm not taking any questions. I am taking questions. So, Lord of the Flies is a special place in my heart, and I always really enjoy rereading it. I know that I filmed a review of this one when I was still in college that I still feel pretty good about, so you can find that and watch that. Don't ask me questions. Don't ask me to do your homework for you, though, because I'm sick of that. It's a good book. Just read it. Stop looking for answers on the internet. So, one thing that I thought might be kind of fun, even though I don't film these videos right after I read 5 books because I'm extremely behind on filming them, so this won't hit every book that I'm reading, but I thought I'd just share the books I'm currently reading too. I'm reading For Darkness Shows the Stars by Diana Peterfreund, which is like a young adult dystopian retelling of Sense and Sensibility? Persuasion. I knew it was a Jane Austen novel I hadn't read, so that's been interesting. I'm also like 9 pages away from being done with this Warrior Cat novella series, Legends of the Clans, which is the Spotted Leaf Pedophile one, the Pine Star one, and the Thunderstar one. So that is what I'm currently reading. Also something on my Kindle. I think it's Fantastic Land. I'll put up a picture. Fantastic Land actually is probably my favorite book I'm reading right now, which is really a shock when it comes to, like, my Kindle book is never my favorite book I'm reading. Like, but Fantastic Land has been pretty interesting. But these are the books 131 to 135. I don't know if I said that at the beginning. It's books 131 to 135 that I have read recently. Not really. I read all these in August and it's December. But that is all for today. I'll talk to you later and goodbye.